Chairs No Waiting, episode number 547, Mayberry Games. Two Chairs No Waiting is brought to you each week by the folks over at weaversdepartmentstore.com. It's a real place, really. Drop by, see what they've got over there. They got Randy Turner's new book called Mayberry First, something you don't want to miss. It's got some great stuff about, well, Mayberry First. And if it's from Randy Turner that you hear here on the podcast, go check it out. Weavers also has a 2020 Andy Griffith Show wall calendar. That's right. Head over to weaversdepartmentstore.com and check them out. Two Chairs No Waiting is also brought to you by donations from listeners like you. The executive producer of episode number 547 are still the folks that were at the Mayberry meetup because they collected money and gave it to me to sponsor the show. So now they're executive producers. And I appreciate it. Thank you, guys. And thank you for being here with me. It's always great to be here in Mayberry with you. And who am I? I'm Alan Newsom, your host for Two Chairs No Waiting. And not only that, I also run iMayberry.com and the iMayberry community and a bunch of other Mayberry-related websites. And I also go around pretending to be a barber. Yeah, I'm not a barber, but I did stay at Holiday Inn last night. Yeah, so I do that as well. So I definitely have a great time with all the Mayberry stuff, and I know you do too, or you wouldn't be here listening to the show. So tonight, whenever you're listening to this, we're going to talk about, first off, we'll talk about this just a second. There's a magazine that's put out by the folks in Mount Airy, and it's called Mayberry Magazine. Now, they're on they're on issue 22 now. It just came out, the September edition of the magazine. And you can get the Mayberry Magazine for your very own. It's $38. You get 8 issues a year. That's maybe a little steep, but it's Mayberry. You know, you gotta get there. So I will put a link in the show notes to the phone number that you can call and order it yourself and get a copy of Mayberry magazines, or get the yearly subscription. And it's all right there in black and white. So I'll put that on the website. Now, one of the things that was in this month's issue that I wanted to talk about is it's by John Peters. It's in the magazine here, and it's called Let the Games Begin. And we're always talking about Mayberry Days. You've got great events going on at Mayberry Days. You've got Colonel Tim's. You've got the trivia contest. You've got all kinds of events going on. You got actors that were from the show. They're going to be there. They're going to be putting on their shows, singing, comedy routine from Ronnie Shell. You've just got so much that's happening during Mayberry Days. But there's a few things that they talked about in this that, you may not even know go on during Mayberry Days. So I wanted to bring that up to you. And so we're going to talk about that. We've also got some news about the Mayberry Man movie. I'll be giving you, it's a press release and a little bit more I want you to be aware of. I'm going to share that with you. And then we're going to hear from Randy Turner. So, man, we got a lot to do. So let's get this thing going. I'm going to get a little bit of background music. Let's see what would be good. Let's try this one. Ah, isn't that nice? Sets the mood for Mayberry Days. There we go. So, folks, I want to thank the folks at Mayberry Magazine for letting me share parts of this story that they wrote. This is from John Peters, who wrote it. He's there at Mayberry Days and Mount Airy News. That's where he is. He said, it all began with an impromptu contest, hearkening back to the most basic urges we've all felt almost since we were old enough to stand, to pick up a rock and toss it. That's right, rock throwing. That was the very first competitive event held at the initial Mayberry Days in Mount Airy, North Carolina, although it was just a single day back then, so it was really Mayberry Day. Over the nearly 3 decades since, tossing stones has fallen by the wayside as a game of choice for the thousands of Andy Griffith Show fans who descend on his hometown each September. But this year's Mayberry Days will feature so many contests, it could also almost be considered a Mayberry Olympics. There's going to be a checker tournament, a talent show. That's Colonel Tim's. There's youth and adult trivia contest. There's a whistling competition. There's pork chop sandwich eating contest. pie eating contest. There's a pickle toss. Of course, I've heard there's no kerosene involved, at least the best we know. There's an apple peeling contest. Now, all these things go on during Mayberry Days, and the list is very lengthy. So there's lots to do. But it all started back in 1990. The nation was transitioning from the MTV-soaked big 80s to the final decade of the 20th century, with the rise of home computers and the first glimpse of the internet for personal use. It was all starting back when Mayberry Days began. That year, the cast of the Andy Griffith Show was gathering in Charlotte, North Carolina. It's about a 2-hour drive from Mount Airy. For the 30th reunion of the debut of the Andy Griffith Show. At the behest of the Andy Griffith Show superfan and presiding goober Jim Clark, Mount Airy's Tanya Jones took on the challenge of putting together a quick one-day event to mark the occasion in Mount Airy. After all, it's Andy's hometown. And as the star admitted later in life, much of the show was based on the memories of growing up in Mount Airy. Tanya Jones, executive producer of the Surrey Arts Council, understood even then that the arts, and specifically her agency, could have a significant role in drawing visitors to the city. So she organized a staff of volunteers to put on what she expected would be a one-time event. With a few tours and talks about Mayberry and how it related to the Andy Griffith Show, the town of Mount Airy, how it related to the Andy Griffith Show. The event caught on, however, drawing far more people than she could have ever imagined, keeping her staff hopping. That day, they were just busy, coming up with events to entertain the fans. One of the show's most quirky characters, you may know him as Ernest T. Bass, was known for announcing his displeasure with local events by tossing a rock through windows. He often proclaimed himself the best rock thrower in the county. While the identity of the winner of that initial Mayberry rock throwing championship in Mount Airy has been lost to time, along with the knowledge of whether the winning throw could rival Ernest T. Bass's toss, the competition set the stage. Over the years since then, Mayberry Days grew to a weekend event and then finally to a 5-day event. Well, I shouldn't say finally, and now it's a whole week of Mayberry-related contests have grown to meet the needs of many and any hardcore competition junkie. And while the games are all good fun, the competition is certainly serious, particularly in such activities as the checkers throwdown. That's right. It's serious. The checkers competition is definitely serious. Let's see. The Goober Says Hay Bale tossing contest event. They actually throw hay bales. You like that one? And the apple peeling contest. Now, all those are serious competitions, I promise you. Among the competitions open during the week are, and here they are. So these are ones you could sign up to be at Mayberry Days, all right? Mr. Tucker's Apple Peeling Contest. It's hosted by the Mayberry Preservation Society. The contest runs for 2 days. So you got Friday, that's September 27th, and Saturday, the 28th of 2019. Those wishing to compete can sign up at the Mayberry Days Information Shelter and get an apple and a peeler to try for the longest continuous peel. That is such a Mayberry event, isn't it? Pickle Toss is sponsored by Mount Olive Pickles. That's right. And that's on Friday, September 27th from 9:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. You can win pickles from Mount Olive in this fun day-long event that includes plenty of delicious pickles with nary a kerosene-infused cucumber to be found. They're all good old store-bought pickles. Mayberry Days Whistling Championship. Now, there's a good one. That's on Friday, the 27th at 11 a.m. at the Blackman Theater, though registration is at the Information Shelter. So you'll need to check out at the information booth. Trophies are awarded for the best youth, that's age 12 and younger, and adult divisions whistling the theme song from the Andy Griffith Show. Of course, you can't just whistle whatever you want to. It's got to be the theme song to the Andy Griffith Show. Pork chop sandwich eating contest. Now this is a tough one. That is from 12:30 to 1 p.m. and I think that is on Saturday. It's hosted by the Snappy Lunch. It's officiated by Mary Dow. Snappy Lunch is mentioned several times in the Andy Griffith Show and is the only restaurant in town that has been in continuous operation since Andy Griffith was a boy. Check in with the staff at the Snappy Lunch to get a copy of the rules before ordering, and then dig in. The all-time record for pork chop eating for this event is 8 pork chop sandwiches. Now you have to get them all the way, pork chop sandwich all the way, and you have to eat them like that. Wow. There's a pie eating contest at 2:30. I think that might be on Saturday as well at Opie's Clubhouse. That's right next to the Andy Griffith Playhouse. And it's hosted by a mother figure and the Mayberry Days Preservation Society of the Rio Watchers Club chapters. After you've downed all these thick and juicy pork chop sandwiches and then had some dessert at the pie eating contest, and I tell you, that's a lot of dessert you got to eat. There'll be trophies that'll go to the 3 who are the fastest in eating the pies. They get those as well. There are 2 divisions. There's young'un division and an adult division. The adults are the hungry buzzards, by the way. You can register for information at the information shelter. So basically, if you drop by the information booth there at Mount Airy during Mayberry Days, it'll be up near the Playhouse. You'll find it. The Mayberry Minutemen. Now, this is all on Friday, evidently. All these things I said were Saturday are actually Friday. So Friday, boom, it's a day of eating. The Mayberry Minutemen, they have the youth trivia competition that starts Friday, September 27th at 3:30 p.m. So that's the youth. That's at the Blackman Theater, and it's hosted by the chapter. Let's see. Let me see. I missed my page here. Let me find my page. It's by the chapter called She Called Me a Creechster. I love the name of that. The Creechsters. I knew it was the Creechsters, but the chapter's name is She Called Me a Creechster. That's who hosts the youth trivia contest, and it's open for fans that are 14 years old and younger. Okay, so if you're 14 and younger, you can do that. You have to purchase a $2 fan. It's a trivia fan, usually at least. You have to have that to be able to play in the trivia contest. Okay, so you'll be able to get that at the information booth, as we said, the information shelter. You can get your fan there, and they'll have the fans waving them around down there at the event as well. So head over to the Blackman Theater on Friday about 3:30 that's the youth trivia. So I recommend that if you want to be in the adult trivia, you go to the youth trivia, because you can listen to the youth's trivia questions and feel good or better. They're pretty hard too. And then, ladies and gentlemen, the World Championship of Mayberry Trivia will start at 4:30 p.m. at the Blackman Theater, following the youth trivia. And it'll be hosted by the hearty-eating men and beautiful, delicate women. I need to say it like that. They're a family of hearty-eating men and beautiful, delicate women. Their chapter will be hosting that event. And to compete in it, you'll need the $2 fan as well. And so you'll need that as well when you're doing that. Don't miss out on getting the fan, because even if you don't get any right, you at least have a fan, and it'll be, it's going to be warm. It'll be hot. It'll be hot. So there will be prizes for top finishers in that contest and in the youth contest as well. So definitely do that. There are so many events going on in and around Mayberry like that. The Chester Jones Checker Tournament is Saturday, the 28th at noon. It's down at the Siamese Twin exhibit below the house, and it's hosted by the Mayberry chapter of the Rio Watchers Club. There are a limited number of seats for that one, so it's a round-robin tournament, and the person winning the most games, they claim the title. It's a $2 entry fee for that, too. Checker tables are available from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., and you can just sit around and play and practice for yourself. But if you want to be in the tournament, you've got to be there on Saturday morning, starting at noon. All right. Mayberry Idol. So if you want to perform, you got something to do and you want to perform, well, you can be in the Mayberry Idol. It's from 12 to 2:30 at the Blackman Theater there on Saturday. Talent contest goes at a little slower pace than the Colonel Tim show that's later that night. But the top 3 finishers, the ones who finish the top 3 during the Mayberry Idol, they get to appear at Colonel Tim's. So come on down. And Colonel Tim's Talent Time, it'll be that night. So you just come and enjoy it. I know you'll enjoy it. Space is limited and sign-ups start on Friday, but the Mayberry Idol is not until Saturday. Okay. Now this one's one I've never done. I want to go and check this out. Goober Says Hey Bell. It's Goober Says Hey. It's Hay. Goober Says Hey Bell Tossing. That's on Saturday at 1 p.m. at the top of the hill across the street from the Andy Griffith Playhouse. It's a single elimination contest, and it'll run from 1 until 2 with a trophy awarded to the winner. There's also a cornhole toss contest. You know, there'll be the cornhole. You've seen them play that, where they throw the little bean bag into the hole. That's what that is, and they'll have trophies for that as well. Grab a partner and come compete for trophies while the hay bales go flying nearby, they said. So again, the Mount Olive Pickle Toss, that'll be on Friday. We already talked about that one. Folks, there is just so much going on there that you do not want to miss these events. Now, there's more in here. I'm not gonna go into any more and tell you more, but you need to get the Mayberry Magazine. While you're in Mount Airy for Mayberry Days, you can probably find one, but if you don't subscribe, you won't get them every month. They have all kinds of cool stuff in here, by the way. They have trivia. So far, every issue I've gotten has Mayberry trivia in the back, so you think you know. Yeah, so we did Mayberry trivia last week here on the podcast, and I know you enjoyed it. So if you enjoy that kind of stuff, it's in here. There's all kinds of other information in here, of course, and there's advertisements for local businesses. There's a great write-up in this particular issue about Ronnie Shell. So, friends, there's always more Mayberry to be had. So get the Mayberry Magazine. I hope you enjoyed the little report. That's a lot of things going on. I've never been to the hay bale throwing contest. I may have to go and check that out. I don't know if it's real hay bales or if it's really cornhole. I'm confused at this point. So we will find out. I don't know. I've never played that, but I can't throw a hay bale. I could when I was younger. I don't know if I could throw one now or not. And maybe a little one, a little bitty bale of hay. All right. So that's it. That's what we had for that. Now I'm going to talk to you a little bit about, this one is a press release. I got it right here in my hands. There's a press release about the Mayberry Man movie. Now, have you guys heard about that? The Mayberry Man movie? That's right. Mayberry Man. Let me read to you about it, because this is what it says. The children of the Andy Griffith Show cast are developing a new feature-length comedy about modern-day Mayberry. So this is a press release. Los Angeles, California, August 16th, 2019. The Andy Griffith Show debuted on television in nearly 60 years ago, and has aired in syndication virtually every day since, amassing a devoted fan base seeking high-quality, wholesome entertainment that harkens back to a simpler time. Now, the children of the actors who appeared on the original series are developing a feature-length comedy that will capture the spirit of Mayberry and serve it up to the passionate Mayberry fan community. It's called Mayberry Man. In Mayberry Man, an arrogant movie star is busted for speeding in a small southern town and is sentenced by a local judge to attend Mayberry Days, a week-long festival celebrating the Andy Griffith Show. Immersed in this modern-day Mayberry, he discovers the true meaning of friendship and family. Writer-director Stark Howell, an independent filmmaker and Hollywood storyboard artist, is the son of Hoke Howell, a character actor known for portraying hillbilly Dud Wash in the original series. The younger Howell was inspired to make the movie after attending his first Mayberry Days festival in Mount Airy, North Carolina, Andy Griffith's hometown. Quote, I've always been a fan of the show, but I was shocked to discover the spirit of Mayberry still exists today within the tight-knit Mayberry fan community, says Hal. It's a perfect setting to tell a modern-day, family-friendly story that expresses the virtues of the fictitious town of Mayberry that we all fell in love with so many years ago, end quote. What makes this project unique is that it will showcase original cast members of the Andy Griffith Show alongside real fans, including tribute artists who dress up as characters from the show. Much of the film takes place in Mount Airy during the annual Mayberry Days Festival and is scheduled to be shot there in September of 2020. Original Andy Griffith Show cast members slated for the film include Clint Howard, that's Ron Howard's younger brother who played peanut butter and jelly eating Leon, Ronnie Shell, who's in 2 episodes of the Andy Griffith Show and also was Duke Slater on Gomer Pyle USMC, and Keith Thibodeau. 13 episodes he played, and he also played Little Ricky on I Love Lucy. This is a quote here. It says, "Hollywood shouldn't make this movie," proclaims Clint Howard in support of an independent filmmaking approach. Howard, who has appeared in every type of production from low budget to Hollywood blockbusters like Apollo 13, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, Austin Powers. He says, quote, "This movie needs to be made by Mayberry citizens in Mayberry," end quote. And he's referring to Mount Airy, North Carolina. Additional family members involved in the project include producer's Court Howell, is the son of Hoke, and Gregory Shell, Ronnie's son. Also set to appear in the film is George Lindsay Jr., the son of George Lindsay, who played Goober on the series. For more information, you can visit mayberryman.com. And there's more information on here as well about that. Guys, this is going to be cool. So now they sent that out, and that was a press release that went out to everybody. All right, so that went out to everybody. And we also have a nice letter that's going out to just us, the fans of the Andy Griffith Show. So this is what it says. It says, it's going to be more like this. It says, "Greetings, Mayberry fans and tribute artists." So this is us. This is me and you. I hope this finds you well and in great spirits. As you may be aware already, there's an exciting movie project that's coming up in Mount Airy, North Carolina. The movie's entitled Mayberry Man, and below you'll find this press release that I just told you about, and the official movie poster. So the movie poster is basically the picture that's on their website is part of it. There's a picture of the movie poster as well. So there you go. Anyway, it says the movie poster is included as well. Okay. The producers of the Mayberry Man movie are hoping that you'll make an appearance in the movie. So guys, this is you. Okay. So this is you. They're talking about shooting this on location in Mount Airy during Mayberry Days of 2020. Right. So they're talking to you and me. And they said, they'd like for you to make an appearance in the movie. You've been selected as an outstanding member of the Mayberry community. That's you, because you listen to this podcast. And I encourage you to speak to Stark Howell, Court Howell, or Gregory Shell during this year's Mayberry Days Festival if this piques your interest, if you'd like to be in the movie. You can learn more about the movie if you go to mayberryman.com. And you can also send correspondence directly to the production team if you'd like to by sending to mayberrymanmovie@gmail.com. So the producers are looking forward to hearing from you and seeing you on the silver screen of Mayberry Man. So you have an opportunity to be in this movie. So this is going to be so much fun if we can pull all this stuff together and do it. So these guys are really fired up about making this movie and really want to get it done. So I'm so hopeful they can make it because I've read the script and it's very funny, and I think it's kind of like a Hallmark movie is what I've said. It's a guy, he's kind of arrogant, and of course he goes to Mayberry Days and finds out what it really means to have friendship and what many of us have seen when we've gone to Mayberry Days, just to see what it's like. It's almost like family. It's like a big family reunion. So anyway, there will be information on the show notes for this episode about these exact things. And I hope you'll just go and check it out. All right. So that's enough blathering from me. So let's go and hear from Randy Turner with This Week in Mayberry History.
Welcome to This Week in Mayberry History, a report by special correspondent Randy Turner of the Gomer and Cooper Pyle Comic Book Literary Guild of the Mayberry Historical Society.
While some fans do not watch the last 3 color seasons of the Andy Griffith Show, they're missing out on much good comedy, as well as the occasional appearance of someone like Eddie Carroll, who is more well known for other work, yet spent some time in Mayberry. Eddie was born Edward Aleniak on September the 5th, 1933 in Alberta, Canada. Eddie studied theater at Canada's Orion Theater alongside classmate Robert Goulet. Eddie moved to Hollywood in 1956 after winning a job with NBC as a writer and producer. As a resident alien, Eddie was drafted and served our country in the Army. He performed while a soldier with the Armed Forces Radio Service. Upon his discharge from the military, Eddie took the stage name Eddie Carroll. In 1960, he released a comedy album, and the following year co-wrote the song How Is Julie, which was a hit for the singing trio The Lettermen. Eddie began appearing on television in 1963 in an episode of the military drama The Lieutenant. He did not do so again for 3 years, but in 1966 appeared in several series, including That Girl, and more importantly for our purposes, in 2 episodes of Gomer Pyle USMC, playing a recurring character, Sergeant Lubbock. This was the only recurring role Eddie ever played. In 1967, Eddie appeared in 3 series, the courtroom drama Jed for the Defense, and 2 in the Mayberry universe. 1 was his 3rd and final appearance in Gomer Pyle USMC, though this time he was a gas station attendant. The other was his brief stop in the Andy Griffith Show. When Aunt Bee won a trip to Mexico and traveled there with Clara and Myrtle, Eddie played the airport clerk. After his brief stop in the Andy Griffith Show, Eddie did not act extensively. Over his entire career, he only appeared in episodes of 12 series and several short films and TV movies. You might wonder why he's being showcased here. Well, Eddie is well known, but for 2 very different roles. The first was a stage role. Eddie resembled Jack Benny. A fan of the great comedian, Eddie developed a one-man show in which he portrayed Benny. He even learned to play the violin to complete his performance in A Small Eternity with Jack Benny. Eddie eventually developed a second one-man show called Jack Benny, Laughter in Bloom. He traveled the country impersonating Jack Benny and performing in these noted 2 shows for 27 years. The second role was through voice work for animation. Beginning in 1973, Eddie was the voice of Jiminy Cricket for nearly 40 years. After the death of the original voice artist, and a brief stint of the character being voiced by Clarence Nash, the voice of Donald Duck, Eddie began voicing the iconic Jiminy Cricket in short animated films, video games, television series, and movies. In the early 70s, Eddie also became involved in another animated project in a different way, and it was one that involved 2 other Mayberry alumni. Eddie became writing partners with Jamie Farr, known to most as the dress-wearing Corporal Klinger in MASH, and who appeared in the Andy Griffith Show as part of a gypsy band, trying to convince residents they could control the weather. Eddie and Farr were part of the writing team on the 1972 Saturday morning Hanna-Barbera series, The Amazing Chan and the Chan Clan, a new version of the Chinese detective Charlie Chan. The lead character was voiced by Key Luke, the chef for Aunt Bee's Cantonese Palace. Unbelievably, this sparked the only time Charlie Chan was ever played by a person of Chinese ancestry. Eddie died from a brain tumor in 2010 at the age of 76. Upon his death, his wife, whom he had married in 1963, said he was so proud to do both roles. He just admired the whole fantasy of Jiminy Cricket, and he loved the man who was Jack Benny. Well, that's it for this week. As always, thanks for listening, and remember to take Andy's advice and go out there and act like somebody.
Wow, thank you, Randy. And if you want to make sure you don't miss any of the amazing stuff that Randy digs up and puts out on the internet, send him an email at turnersgrade@gmail.com, turnersgrade@gmail.com, because Randy just keeps coming up with great history reports, and he's got so much more, including the book I told you about earlier that you can get over at Weaver's, Mayberry First. Great book. Folks, man, I hope you've enjoyed this. I am getting fired up and ready for Mayberry Days. It's coming up soon. I hope you can come to Mayberry Days and just be a part of it. If you can't, try to make plans to be able to come next year, or next year will be the 60th anniversary of the Andy Griffith Show. This year is a 30th anniversary of Mayberry Days. It's 30th Mayberry Days. So there's just a couple of big Mayberry Days coming up right in a row. Every Mayberry Days is big. I mean, and big ain't the word for it. We've always had a lot of fun, and I know it'll never end as long as the fans of this show gather together and enjoy themselves over that weekend. What a great time it always is to see you and other fans like us there and just enjoying themselves and smiling and seeing the different tribute artists walking around the street, visiting with you, getting your pictures made with them, seeing the actual cast members from the Andy Griffith Show. Mayberry Days is just a special weekend. And it's coming up a couple of weeks, so stick around. We'll have reports as we get through it. After it's over, we'll be talking about it. I'll probably end up talking about it again because it's on my mind right now. But I know you would enjoy being a part of Mayberry Days. So I would love to hear from you guys. So if you can give me a call at 888-684-8415, I would love to hear from you. Or you can just email me at floyd@imayberry.com. Or just head over to twochairsnowaiting.com and you'll find all that information there. It's all there. Love to hear from you. Hope I'll see you at Mayberry Days. And I hope you enjoyed it. And if you didn't listen to last week's podcast, go back and listen because the trivia was a lot of fun. So, folks, until next time, we'll see you back here on Two Chairs No Waiting, your Mayberry podcast. Good night.